Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Ray. Welcome to my channel. Here to share my own spiritual path and my healing gifts with you, to show you how to heal with consciousness. First of all, I want to say thank you very much to all of you who commented and sent out so much love and support after my last post, which required a little more courage than usual. But I'm so glad I shared it, this very personal experience, difficult experience, because I think it is important that we share our stories, and in that way we're not so alone in this experience called life. In today's post I am answering a question. I opened up this space to questions recently, and this post was asked in French, which was lovely. It's about maintaining a high frequency. How do we do that? You know, with all the frequencies that we're surrounded by in our day-to-day and everything that's going on internally, how do we work with that to ensure that we're in our highest frequency? Which I think is a really interesting question. And my response to that question, and it's through my own understanding of how to work with consciousness, energy, and the different frequencies, is always to come within. Whatever we're experiencing on the external is information, and it's coming in, and we're receiving that. We're receiving the frequencies, the information. Sometimes we're triggered, sometimes we can feel overwhelmed, and our response to that, it will determine our own frequency in any given moment. At the same time, we've got our own inner life and all the things that we're experiencing, the frequency of emotion, the frequency of thought, and it's a lot of frequencies to deal with in any one given moment. It's true. My experience is that the more that you can be present and respond to your experience in the present moment, so it's whatever is coming in from the external, whatever you're experiencing in the internal, and the reactions to both of those environments, the inner and the outer. And the more we can be present and choose how we respond, the more we can maintain what you can call a high frequency. Now, it might be that you're experiencing something really quite difficult. It could be a trigger. It could be an overwhelm from a lot of information or the presence of chaotic energy around you. The idea or the point is not to be in a perfect state of balance and equilibrium and being able to always maintain a state of calm. It's a holding of a space in presence where you can respond with awareness to whatever it is you're experiencing in the moment. And the information that we're receiving is giving us everything we need in order to know how to shift back into a space of presence, of alignment, okay? And it's allowing ourselves that human experience of feeling everything. What we're doing is we're holding that space in the present moment with whatever we're experiencing. We're holding that space with unconditional love. So we're allowing everything to be part of that experience. And it's how we react and how we choose to respond that shifts the frequency, if you like. So if we're in a reactive state to something, a trigger, somebody pushes our buttons, and we react with rage or with anger, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But it's the ability to observe, oh look, I'm reacting with anger. And then it's the reaction to that. Am I going to shame myself? Am I going to choose to be there with unconditional love and allow for a realignment to happen, a healing to happen in the moment, awareness to come in? And there you have the high frequency, because you're holding everything in a space of unconditional love, allowing life to happen, giving yourself room to maneuver and to flow and to come back into presence, to reconnect, to come back into alignment. Okay? So it's not about perfection, it's not about holding a rigid frequency, it's a flow, and it's giving yourself grace, it's holding the space. And there, I feel, we find our highest frequencies. It's how we talk to ourselves. You know, it's the self-talk. It's the ability to respond to a difficult, challenging experience, whether it comes from the inner space or the outer space, and how we respond to that. What do we choose? And again, there we have our power and our autonomy and our agency. And it's a moment by moment experience, this frequency that we're holding and we're expanding into as we awaken more into consciousness. Okay? And it's interesting because my approach has changed very much over the years. It started out very much as a seated meditation, and I would purposefully hold the intention to raise my frequency, to be in the highest frequency, and to clear everything that wasn't of a high frequency. And so there was a lot of clearing and a lot of focus on what was happening internally, and feeling the need to fend off anything that was happening externally. But the more I've learnt to be present with whatever is, and to observe what feedback I'm getting in the body, what triggers are happening, I've learnt to flow and align, and it becomes a moment by moment experience. And sometimes, you know, life happens and you get angry and you snap and you do whatever. But it's holding that space with unconditional love. And it's in that space that you are finding your ability to hold a frequency of love, a frequency of compassion, a frequency of forgiveness and allowing, and there you are, creating the space for you to be your human self, but in a more expansive awareness, and exploring more and more of who you are. So I hope that answers your question, my own experience of how to maintain a high frequency, because we are, after all, here to live in the world and to bring all this awareness together of what it is to be human, you know, with all that spiritual awareness that we're gaining along the way of understanding our truth as consciousness, as spiritual beings, having human experiences. And life is showing us everything we need. Okay. So yeah, I hope that helps. And do feel free to add your own experiences and understanding of this question. And I look forward to seeing you in the next post.